Yo, everybody. What's up? Welcome, man. We better get this intro video popping, man. Here we go. One, two, three. I wanted to say the love hour right now. Welcome to the Way Love Goes podcast, everybody.
Yeah.
We are your host. I am here as Don Dees with the awesome, wonderful, it's my sister.
Tierra Monica. I'm sorry. I was mid burp.
Oh, sorry. That's all right,
I
guys.
was mid burp. I don't know where it came from, but it just
It just needed to get out, you know. Sometimes things that's in us, it just got to come out, you know.
got to come out. Yeah.
And we're comfortable with that. We're comfortable with that, as we talked about last week, man. We gonna be like that. Yeah, man. We got this. I got educated on the research this
Okay.
time. Not necessarily that it was new stuff, but it was things probably I haven't thought about
Uh-huh.
for a while. And there was we kind of went through two articles, and the first one, man, I thought there were some really good points in there.
Yeah.
Interested to get to that discussion, but first, how are you doing?
I'm all
How's it
right.
going?
I'm
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, I'm all right. Usually I'm like,
Uh
yeah,
oh.
I'm good. I'm all right.
Something didn't happen.
The only thing that's well, I don't know. Like I've been having this emotional week. I don't know.
Mm.
Usually it's because I'm a whole woman, so we we
Mm-hmm.
go through our hormones that time of the month. But
Okay.
it's already gone away, and it's still this kind of sadness is still lingering. I don't know if it's because I watched.
Mm.
So
Ted?
I watched. Okay,
Oh.
I'm done. I'm
Oh,
done
you
with
did?
I'm done. I'm done for the season because
Oh,
I
okay.
so I love it, and I found this is a good thing. I found there's a actual Ted Lasso inspirational quotes Instagram page
Really?
that has like all of the quotes that he did.
Hey, guys.
That thing is, I love that show. You haven't watched Ted Lasso, it's a good show. But I've watched so last Saturday I watched Jason Frederick's funeral. That.
Rest
So
in
that's
peace. Rest
still
in
prayers out
peace.
to the Fredericks family and Kevin Stage and Melissa and all of them and his wife Tammy and their entire family. And
Yeah.
then David A. Arnold, the comedian who died on September the 7th, unexpectedly, his funeral was this week as well. So
Oh, wow.
they had a celebration for him that streamed live on YouTube. Then they had an actual funeral for him or a homegoing celebration for him the next day.
Mm.
So I watched that back to back.
Oh, shoot.
And so it was funny because they had like some funny moments in there, but then it was like really sad, but just thinking about it. And then it
Yeah.
kind of lingered. So I was like, I can't stop crying. Like I'm like watching something to keep me happy, and then I'll cry.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, why am I crying? I don't know if it was just sadness. And then it was raining here. So it's
Mm.
very Seattle like. I said I could never live in Seattle. I don't see how they do it. I don't see how y'all do it out there in Seattle. But I don't think I could live somewhere where it's gloomy all the time. Like all the
Mm.
time. I don't know. That's how they put it out there. Like it's always raining in Seattle. I
Yeah,
love
I've heard
rain.
that too.
I don't think I love it that much. But it just made me sad. So I just went ahead and made an appointment with a therapist. Because I think something
Yeah,
else
that's
is going
good.
on. I was like, okay, I have to figure out what it is. And I've been like putting it off for a while. I push therapy a lot on other people, but then like but then like hypocritical me, I'm like, oh
Mm.
yeah, I'm supposed to get a therapist too. And I made excuses as to why I hadn't had one. Well, they haven't given me a call back yet, or blah blah. It's like, no, be proactive. You don't have to wait around for somebody to give you a call back if you need help. So
Right.
yeah,
That's a good
so
point.
I went ahead and made an appointment. So I have an appointment next Thursday for my therapy appointment. But I was telling my friend, and I'm going to wrap this up. I was telling my friend that she was like, "Oh, is everything okay?" I was like, "Yes, but no. I said I think that my phone call with my dad triggered something in me, like,
Oh,
and I
was
just
that
don't know how to figure it out.
was
So
that recent?
yeah, so my dad's birthday is on the 29th of September, and
Uh huh.
we don't have a relationship at all. Um,
Mm.
Not because of me. I would say, he just, everybody's not meant to be a parent. But
Mm-hmm.
hey, it is what it is. So I ended up calling him on his birthday and talked to him, and then like we weren't on the phone, we weren't even on the phone for more than 6 minutes. And he was like, hurry up, trying to hurry up and get me off the phone.
Oh, dang.
But
Okay.
after that call, I just broke down in tears because I was like, I just got overwhelmed with it because we don't talk and we don't have a relationship, and I don't have the relationship that I want to have with him. So
Mm-hmm.
I think it triggered something in me, some very deep down emotions that made me,
Mm.
you know, thank you. Hold on, let me go and stop being fake. So I can't see either. Okay. My
Oh
contacts,
yeah.
I rubbed them so much, they rubbed out of my eyes. When I tried to put them back in, my eyes was like, no, girl, not today. So
Not
I
today.
had to go and get my old glasses. This is how I look in my
Hey.
glasses. I am a whole nerd and I love nerds, but I hate the way I look in glasses. But this is me today in glasses. So yeah. So I think hopefully, not a thing. I know that the therapist, hopefully I won't have to go through several therapists to find my right one, because I heard, you have to go through a lot.
Takes time. Yeah. Sometimes it
I mean,
takes
I had a
time.
therapist back before when I was going through the
Mm-hmm.
divorce and stuff, but this is
Mm-hmm.
different. So to tap into those daddy issues and those abandonment issues, and I think it just kind of like triggered me, and I just been crying all week.
Mm.
I'll be
Mm.
happy, and the next thing I'm like, oh, you would think I was pregnant. I'm not, thank God. But yes,
Dang. Uh, yeah.
yeah. So
Yeah.
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 But what's going on with you? My sappy sack. You
Shoot,
told me
man.
you got some good stuff.
Hey, no, that's you know what it is? It's good in a resourceful, beneficial way, what
Yeah.
you shared. Because there's probably a lot of folks that things happen and they don't know why, but then they
Right.
don't tap into it, which actually we're gonna talk about
Yeah.
tapping into today. But yeah, my week was pretty good, man. I took my kiddos. They had this camping trip thing. So
Okay.
anybody who's avid, as you know about this thing called Pathfinders. Pathfinders is like the Adventist Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts thing, and
Okay.
so they went and like they're getting honors and hanging out in nature and camping and all this stuff. But
Okay.
it was great because it's like a win-win,
Uh-huh.
because my youngest daughter, she has really never been like away from us, where it's like, no, you go on and we're leaving and you're gonna be here, so it was kind of, she was kind of crying a little bit and stuff. She was, so she had to work through that, and I'm like, it got to happen sometime. It's got to happen.
Right.
Might as well have it happen in a place where you got your brother and your sister with you, and there's
Right.
a whole bunch of other kids, and there's going to be fun activities, so you can hopefully like get through it more quickly. But on the benefit side, it's a fun thing, and there's like tons of kids. It's like it's like tons of kids all over the place, and so hopefully, that will be really good for them. My kids, man, these kids, if they at the house, they like trying to be on the computer, playing video
Right.
games, watching TikTok all day, and so getting them out in nature, getting them
Right.
doing things where they're active and going, good. Second way is obviously we needed a break from the kids. And
Yeah.
so that was nice to come home. Don't gotta get this person taking a shower, get this backpack
Exactly.
ready, get
Yeah.
that. It's like, all right, man, we have peace. We went to dinner, bro. I don't even know when the last time we didn't did that. And it was not like, oh, what time is it? We gotta hurry up and get it because we gotta, we could just eat, talk, just I literally asked her, I was like, so what's positive things that are going on in your life? Like, you got to really check in and be like, we've been living
Right.
together, but what's actually going on in your life? What's going
Right.
on in our life? So we got a chance to talk, and dude, it's been nice. I woke up today, didn't have to take anybody to school, so I just like naturally woke up.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I'll finish my check in with this leg day. Oh God.
Oh,
And and you know, if anybody's been like tapped into the morning prayer, you know,
right,
because I used to do it right after this. And
right.
I one time, I don't know if I think it was yesterday, I showed people the stairs going up to my spot, my spot, and
Yeah,
it's like today I really felt going up them stairs. I was like trying to be cool on the live,
right,
just be like, yeah,
right.
hey guys, but boy, my legs was burning. I was like,
Ah,
ah. We're
right.
up the stairs, guys. So leg day, don't skip it because I skipped it for several years and I felt
Huh.
it
Oh, yeah.
today. But yeah, we good. We're gonna get in there. We're gonna get back in there. It's gonna be good to go. We're gonna keep building and strengthening ourselves. Yeah, Carol laughing at me at leg day. Um, and my man, shout out to my man Sean Boyd, comedian Sean Boyd, who's always
Hey,
on me
Sean.
because I'm breathing hard. And he was like the first time it happened, he was like, yeah, we could do without all the heavy breathing. And then today he was like, yeah, I waited late to log on because I didn't want to deal with the breathing. It's like if you log on, you're gonna get this breathing, bro,
Right.
because I am finna work out. So yeah, so guys, those are our two like check-in tips for you today. If you want to see what's going on with you internally, do not be passive. Be proactive. Get you a therapist session set up,
Yes.
and keep your exercises going, man.
Right.
Get your whatever going. You
Right.
dig? Uh, what you talking about? Wait, what, bro? You know. Today you was like, I'm late because I don't want to deal with the breathing. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Or maybe he just logged on. You don't know what we was talking about. Yeah, I was talking about you dissing me for breathing hard on IG, bro.
Uh,
But it's all good. It's all good. I understand it. I understand it. You're gonna get these breaths, brother. It's like what is that? Tony, he says, you gonna get these bumps.
you gonna get these
You
pumps.
gonna get these pumps. You gonna get these breaths. Pause. All right. Let's get into this topic though. Oh,
Yeah.
actually, first, we need to do our shameless plug.
Oh, yes.
Please sign up your friends, everybody. Yeah, man, we was talking about you. Listen, this is okay. Here's how you go. There we go. This is the truth right there. All right, I put it up there.
Uh,
Yeah. So, yeah, please subscribe. Get all your friends to subscribe. Your mom, your dad, your cousins, your aunts, your uncles. If your dog somehow figures out how to use the
figure
internet,
it out.
paw it out. Paw it out. Okay. Because we need y'all. We're trying to spread this goodness about these relationship things. And if you have, you know what I was telling people on IG today too? I was like, no, maybe you have people that you know are going through relationship stuff. You can share this with them as well, and they can
Exactly.
jump in on the action because it's about tapping in. You
Sharing is
feel me?
caring. Sharing is
Yeah, yeah.
caring.
Oh, my man's shouting you out real quick.
Hey,
Yeah,
Sean. I look different. I look one of one of the teachers in the classroom.
yeah.
I sit
Hey,
down.
add that into the role play. You dig? Hey, that's right. We talked about that.
Ah,
You
we
got
sure
that's
did.
a simple little
We
easy
sure
thing too,
did.
right? That's a little easy thing,
We
bro.
sure
Okay.
did.
So now we're talking about the opposite side of that, bro. All right. Yeah, we talking about the opposite side of that today. Yesterday we was talking about the stuff that you should add into your relationship to get it going and popping and fun.
Right.
Now we're gonna talk about some stuff that you need to take out of the mix.
Right.
Get it on out of there. We talking
Yes.
about
Oh,
relationship
you need
hang
attention.
ups. That's right, man. Oh my God. Oh my God. Listen to this cat. Listen to this guy. This guy right here. Um, you know what's crazy?
Trouble.
You know what's funny? So here, let me tell you, he's firing off a lot of jokes today. That
Mm-hmm.
means my prayer is working because I said, use your God, help him to use his life experiences to push his career forward. And now he's firing jokes off every 2 seconds.
Right.
I like it. I like it. That's prayer at work, folks. That's prayer at work, people. You dig? Side note for you. But let's get into this. Okay, so, guys. The first article that we gonna review today, which I thought was quite nice. It's from a website called lovepanky.com, y'all.
Love Panky.
Like hanky panky, but love though. Yeah. So love panky, right? This is the panky you want to get yourself into. I guess. I don't really know what panky is, but there it is. All right. The article 10 relationship hangups and how to deal with them.
Yeah.
I thought there was some excellent points in here. It's crazy. The highlight of this article for me was not even the hangups. It was all the stuff like that's framing how you look at these hangups. So I'm gonna share some. I'm gonna jump into some excellent points, and then I got a top 3 of the hangups, and then I don't know if you have a top 3 or a top 5 or how many you pick.
I wrote down some things that came to my head.
Oh, okay.
Stuff. Like I was thinking
yeah, freestyle.
My own relationship stuff, and I was like, what were my hangups? So yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's get into it. So first thing, they gave. I love the definition that they offered. They said the relationship hangups are issues that prevent the relationship from growing and progressing. These are blocks, you know. They said it's usually born out of immaturities and insecurities from one or both of the people in the relationship, and constantly letting these issues run rampant in your love life, you are inadvertently damaging your relationship. So just leaving them and ignoring them, you just digging yourself into a hole and a hole and a hole and a hole.
Right.
The reasons for hangups, I thought this was extremely good. One, traumatic ordeal with your past relationship. I think that's probably one that most people would expect.
Yes.
But the second one, a different experience that was actually not related to a romantic relationship. It could have been a rocket relationship with a family member or a friend. All right. And then something deeper, which we talked about the other week, might be a behavioral disorder. A behavioral disorder might contribute to the hangups you having in your relationship. So listen, folks, if you haven't got this wave like by the past couple weeks, mental wellness, mental soundness, that is a serious part of the relationship dynamic. Like it probably, I think in the past, because people didn't talk about it a lot, they would suppress it and they just wouldn't even consider it as a factor. But man, it is such a thing. It's a thing, guys.
Yeah.
All right. Another one of those things that was kind of like, I thought it was a good point, was seeing a friend get over a bad relationship. So it ain't even your relationship, right? But you could be projecting, right, other people's fears into your own relationship because you are afraid that something similar might happen to you or your partner. It ain't even in your relationship and you're bringing it in. And sometimes those can be a hang up too. So, yeah, those were just like a couple framework things that I thought was like, hey, yo, this is, pay attention to this. Let's go to some of your hangups.
Okay.
Because there's something I gotta get something over here. I gotta get my water because my throat is about to dry up. But you start the people on. I'll be right back. Keep it going. And action.
All right, people. Okay, so my first relationship hang up that I think is important is sticking with what you did before without acknowledging the need for change. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and expound on that. All right, let's speak now or forever damage your relationship. That's so funny. Okay, so sticking with what you did before without acknowledging the need for change. So For instance, so like if you always dealt with things in a certain way and now you're in a relationship or now you're dating someone and
Mm,
you're like, okay, they're just gonna have to deal with the how I deal with it and just be, that is a hang up. Because now if what I'm doing and how I used to do something before I met you is harming you or causing me to neglect the relationship, then I should not be doing that anymore. For instance, like someone told me before, I'm sorry, this is just how I deal with stress. And because of how the way they dealt with stress was they would go into isolation. They would like not speak. They would not text. They wouldn't call. But whenever they got over their stress, then they would pop back up and go, "Hey, how's it going?" It's like, wait a minute, I've been texting you and I've been trying to call you and you're not responding to me. And they say their response was, oh, this is just how I deal with stress, just, they'll say, forgive me, I'm sorry, but this is how I deal with stress. And now my response, which is going to be one of my other hangups was, oh, it's
mm,
okay. I understand you're going through, which don't do that. We're going to talk about that later. But yes, but
mm.
you should not allow how you used to deal with things when you were on your own to continue how you deal with it now that you're in a relationship, because now you have to think about somebody else's feelings. You have to think about
Yeah.
how somebody else is going to feel based on how you deal with your stressors. I think the other thing I wrote down was oh yeah, so what I said to them was when they said, oh, this is how I deal with stress, and I go, oh yeah, I understand, but is this how you want to continue to deal with your stress?
Oh, bring them into the future.
Right. So it's like instead of like you saying, oh, well, you shouldn't do this or this is how I deal with it, instead of trying to give your own way of how you deal with it, you just
Yeah.
ask them, is this how you want to continue to deal with that? Is this how you want to continue to move? Because in essence, the way you were doing it is not a good way. It wasn't even a good way for you before you met me, because isolation keeps you away from other people who can help you. And so
Yeah.
just it's like basically just put it back on them to make them take a step back and think yourself and self-reflect and say, maybe I shouldn't be dealing with this the way I should do, or maybe I shouldn't be doing this the way I used to do it. Like, you know, I think when you've been single for a long time, and like in my case, and you start talking to someone and you get in a relationship with someone, or even when you get
Mm,
married, because some people go from being single for a long time, they get engaged real fast, they get married real fast, and now those things that they used to do as a single, they try to do it while they're married, and it don't work
mm.
that way because you still had to think about
No.
your spouse, and you can't move the same way you used to move. So it's important for you to acknowledge that the way I used to do it before you, I can't do it that way anymore because it's harming our relationship. So that's one
Yeah.
hang up.
No, that is. Ooh, that's key, man. Because everybody probably, like going on autopilot
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
is ridiculous, but
Right.
I mean, it's the easiest thing to do. And I said this before, man. I remember my mom having to tell me, it's like, listen, bro, you married now. So you can't be doing that. I'm like,
Right.
yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. Um, Let me go with one that saw on there. I like this because you're doing yours and I'm doing the articles
Okay.
ones. And it's good. All right, so this one is interesting. Let me read it first. Let me read it first. All right, so this one they were talking about money, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I might have to look this one up on my phone too. But
Okay.
anyway, here's what they said. They're talking about money, and this is how they started. So when someone is richer or earns more in a relationship, the balance of power is perceived to tip in that person's favor. Generally, when it's the man that's earning more money than the woman, it's not really a big issue unless like the woman is way too dependent on the man. But if the woman is earning more money than the man, then it develops into like a deeper insecurity on the man's part. That's like becoming one of his hangups now
Right.
because they are often expected to be the provider. So let me ask this. I want to know, first of all, from your perspective, how would you deal with that if you got a man who is hung up on this? Like, what would be your approach? Would you be like, bro, get over it? It ain't a big deal. Like, I don't care. Or How are you handling that?
Hold on, let me process. When someone is richer or earns more, the balance of power is okay, gotcha.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So I dealt with this a little bit, I think, when I was married.
Ooh. Okay, okay.
Okay, yeah, if a woman earns more than a man, can develop into okay, yeah. Um, I think I dealt with it in a different way, but let me go ahead and hit on this part. So I think because society has made men feel like they're the only way to validate their worth is through how much money they make and how much they
Mm,
provide, that it can cause a hang up in the relationship if he doesn't feel like the man in the relationship. So if he's taught that I have to make more money than you in order for me to be the man in this relationship, that's how it has
mm-hmm,
to go. That I would just I would ask him like, okay, does money make you who you are as a man, or are you the
mm,
man who makes the money? Because you can be a man who makes money, and the money
mm-hmm.
does not have to make you. So, but
Facts.
unfortunately, society has told our men that you are not a man if you're not bringing home the bacon, which we learned during the pandemic that kind of flipped because the husband or the man in the relationship, he might have lost his job, he might have got laid
Yeah.
off, his hours
Mm-hmm.
might have got cut, and the woman, she still had her job, so she was the one, the bread winner, I guess you can say, or the one bringing
Mm-hmm.
home the bacon. So it flipped, and so I think a lot of men had to say, okay, well, where's my role in this relationship? I always say you are still a provider even without
Mm-hmm.
making money. You can provide a sense of security. You can provide a space for a peaceful space in the home. You can provide the fact that I'm a reassurance that you're not going to cheat on me. You're not going to go anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain other ways that you can provide for your significant other. It doesn't always have to be money. So I think that's something that someone has to work on internally because
Mm.
another person can't do that for them. Now, if the woman is like making them feel bad, about not making enough money, like you're not giving me all the things that I want with your money, then that
My
means that
Birkin, where's my Birkin?
if you're with a materialistic woman, that's what you're gonna get. But if you don't
Yeah.
want that kind of you don't want that kind of drama or that kind of response to you not making enough money, then you shouldn't get with a woman who only sees you as the money maker. You should
True.
right. You should be with a woman who is recognizing that you are more valuable than how much money you make. Especially if you make her feel secure. Women want to feel secure, and security is not wrapped up in money. Security is wrapped up in other things and how you provide for her, how you treat her, how you love on her, how you talk to her, how you make her feel. That's insecurity, not how much money you make. So
And you know what? I will add to that. Men, if you can find the way to listen to what, you advice that you just got there
right,
and create that space in your home, I bet you that's about to turn on a new switch in your
right,
lady's mind to be like, whoa, I thought he had to make the money, but he's not making the money, but he's still making me feel this good. Okay, brother, you doing something new now. It's like that next level. It's like moving up to the next gear.
right.
I found this thing that you had actually sent me, which is it's a pretty dope account on Instagram, Therapy for Black Men.
Oh, it's so
Yo,
good.
it's good. But they had this one post. It says a few reasons why men may feel they don't have permission to say they're tired, fatigued,
Hmm.
or exhausted.
Right,
And it said some stuff like expressing fatigue is seen as a character flaw for men, as a fatal character flaw for men. It says men are afraid to look weak or incompetent. Men have been programmed not to recognize their baseline or threshold. So
right.
that was, I don't know if you guys remember, there was a week where we were doing To My Future Wife
Hmm.
podcast,
Right.
and the one pushback I had for the guy is when he was saying, look, man, if X, Y, and Z is happening, you're a weak man. this is that pushback right there.
Right.
Everybody's like, look, no, I know that I can do so much, right? For example, if I am working a full-time job and this is the salary cap of this job,
Right.
and okay, but we do still have a couple other stuff that got to get paid. You're not less of a man if you're like, hey, honey, can you like do a part-time something or whatever. You're not slacking. Like, you are doing your job, you're doing as much as you can, and you got to say, this is the capacity with which I can do this without dropping dead. I ain't gonna be of no help to you if I'm dead. If I'm stressed out, I got the heart disease, I'll be trying to deal with my chest pains with a sip of water. Nah, all of that stuff is not going to make me a better man. It is actually more useful. It is much more of a healthy environment that you're setting precedent for yourself, for your kids. If you have a son, as an example, if you have daughters, for what they can expect from the men that they should be with, to set those boundaries that keep you healthy and functioning. So those were some. I mean, yeah, go to that website and look at that post. It had a bunch. It got like 7 or 8 different ones. But for those reasons, that's why I was thinking about that money one, because it's really more the principle of role expectations dominating your relationship versus you, the people, setting what your relationship is going to be. I think that was the difference for me. Right.
If he feels some way, he can always get on the job. If he doesn't want to do that, then maybe he needs to stop whining. Oh.
It's the balance, man. I'll say it's the balance, because I've had a friend who definitely divorced the dude she was married to because he was just not doing nothing.
Right.
And it's like, you can't not do nothing. Like, you got to contribute to your relationship. You can't be slacking and lacking,
Well,
but
yeah. Women need a plan. Women need to see that you have a vision, you have a plan, and that you're actually doing the steps to get to your goal. I think when when we don't see you doing anything, then it's easier for us to check out emotionally from the relationship. But I do think it's also a call to action to our women that we constantly, encourage our men and tell them how great they are outside of what they can do for us financially. So if I am always, praising you about how much money you make, and that's all you're going to attribute my love to is how much money you make. But if I'm praising you outside of how much you make, then you're going to say, okay, she loves me even if I didn't have this, even if I didn't make 100K, even if I didn't drive a Beamer, even if I didn't do this, she's still in my corner and she's going to support me and motivate me to move towards my dreams. That's important. So
yeah, teamwork makes the dream work. I know it's corny, but that's just true, guys.
Right.
Yeah. Let's get another one from you.
Okay, so I have another one. My other one is comparing the last relationship to the new one. That's a relationship hang up. And sometimes you don't say it to them. You may not be saying, oh, well, the last girl I did this. Although I've heard that before.
Oh my gosh.
But you're comparing them in your head, and then you're treating them as such. So, like, whenever they do something for you, if it wasn't the way you thought it should be done based on the last person, you're not appreciative of it, or you'll make a snarky comment towards it, or you're passive aggressive, like, oh, this is nice, but it could have been better, or it could have been this, or I never had it like this before. This is how I had it, or whatever. So my thought on that is, if what they did was so great, then why are you not with them?
Obviously, why are you here?
Something did not
work. Go back over there.
Give me my pencil.
Right.
Something didn't work.
The doctor. Yeah, let's get that teacher in there.
Work the last time you were with them. So you need to go ahead and open up a new mind. If you're going to compare me to the last one who did what they did, then we shouldn't be together, because obviously you're not over them, even though they're over you. They've gone on, they've remarried, they've done all that stuff, but you're comparing your ex to your new, that's a relationship hang up, because they're never going to be able to live up to the other person.
Never.
And I would
Never.
also say that too, if you are a widow, whether you are
Mm.
a female widow or a male widow, I understand. Well, I take that back. I do not understand how it feels to lose a spouse. I don't know in that regard. I know how it feels in divorce, but I don't know how it feels to this person to no longer be on this earth. However, if you're not ready, if you are constantly comparing your new spouse or your new significant other to your deceased spouse or
Yeah.
deceased significant other, then you're not ready to be in a relationship. That's just point blank, period, and that's it. Because you haven't gotten over them. I mean, you're never going to, get over them dying, but your new person cannot be your deceased spouse or deceased significant other.
Right.
They will never be. They will never be able to live up to that. And you should never ever put them in a position to make them feel like they have to live up to the person who's no longer here. And even somebody who is here, they won't, because everybody is unique. We all have our own different fingerprint. And obviously something about me attracted you to me, made you want to be with me, made you want to marry me, made you want to say yes to a committed relationship. So how about you just roll with that and leave all the other comparisons in the rear view mirror? We're not looking back in the rear view mirror for nothing. We're going forward. So let's not compare apples to oranges. I'm not an apple. I'm always going to be an orange. Actually, I'm a whole watermelon. Okay. I'm bigger and I'm juicier.
Yeah. And you know what that made me think of when you're saying your new person will never compare to your old person. In addition, the old person will never compare to your version of them.
Exactly.
Because you've made them way better than they were in whatever that area was. If you go back to the reality, you'd be like, oh, wait, I thought you was. No, they weren't. They weren't. You done did that out of spite. You done elevated them out of spite.
Right.
Yeah.
What's yours?
That's a good one. All right. So here's one that I picked, not because I necessarily like this one, but I like the approach that they took on it. They were talking about the area of cheating, and what they said, this is what they said. Even though it hasn't happened yet or never will, this is the key. This is the framing of this. Right. Even though it hasn't happened or never will happen, some people are paranoid about getting cheated on. This usually stems from like some sort of deeper insecurity. It might be caused by a similar incident in a past relationship or being jealous for no apparent reason, right? All of those things can ruin a relationship before it even gets a chance to grow.
Right.
Dude, that is, for me, I think the element of bringing things before they have even shown themselves, right, is right there. Because this is different than like the African proverb where it's like, when you see a red flag, it has waved to you before or something like that, right? This is not that. This is the opposite. Like that is like, all right, you saw that, and then you still wanted to get into the relationship. Yeah, now you're dealing with X, Y, and Z. But you up in there crafting the flag yourself, putting your partner's name on it, and they're like, hey, what are you doing over there? What is he making a flag or something? And you're like, yeah. This is your flag. And they're like, what? I don't have anything to do with that. But yeah, it happens. And I know for me personally, I've had experiences where there have been family members who have been unfaithful, and I definitely see how that affects, from the moment that I knew about that, every relationship I had in there, I know that was something that was, I don't know if it was to the point of a hang up. I mean, I might as well just call it a hang up if it was something that kept appearing, but I would always be like, I would either look at the person and see if something was going on, or whenever some situation would come up like that, I would talk about it like so harshly as sort of like a subliminal, like, you see how I feel about this, you better not do it. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And like I remember I was dating one girl in college, and I used to act in the plays a lot, and I was doing the play Othello.
Oh,
So
okay.
if you know the story, if anybody knows the story of Othello, obviously I was like one of the only black guy. That's probably why they had me be Othello. Uh, but the whole story is, this black dude. He's in this situation with all these other people. He got a friend that's really jealous of him and built this whole thing, just feeding him all this stuff in his ear about how his woman is cheating on him with this other dude, and so it consumes him so much he kills the woman and she ain't even did nothing. That's
Right.
like the extreme version of this hang up.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm saying? But it's like we do that in
Mm-hmm.
our relationships. We will build up something so crazy in our mind
Mm-hmm.
and emotionally uh, kill our partner, and they
Yeah.
didn't even do nothing. you
Exactly.
know so yeah, we gotta I like the fact that they highlighted that, because they're like, look, man, these things that you are getting preoccupied about,
Mm-hmm.
um like, see if they're even actually part of it. It's a
Right.
hang up, and you may not even need to be dealing with that. Like,
Right.
throw that flag making machine away, just get it out here.
Right. And
Yeah.
sometimes I will add to that. Sometimes it could be a I don't want them to do to me what I did to somebody else. So being
Ooh.
like, they're
Wow.
a reformed cheater, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I had this issue where I thought that when I was in a relationship, I was like always like overthinking, thinking that, oh, he's gonna cheat on me, or why
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't he? I did it, and it's like, no, everybody doesn't have that same mentality. Everybody doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
That's not their first thing they go to. It wasn't my first thing I went to, but still, it's that thing where if I did it to someone else, they could do it to me. And then the truth is, they could do it to you. That is the fact.
Yeah.
They could. But if they're not showing signs that they are doing it, don't make things up. And also, I will also say, back to like family issues. If you saw your mom or your dad do it, you
Mm-hmm.
may have this thing in your head that it always happens in every relationship, and that's not true. That's not
Right.
how it has to always be. That's just something that happened in your family, or that's something that happened, what you saw. And it can also be, what are you listening to and what are you watching? Are you watching a lot of movies talking about cheating? Are you listening to a lot of things talking about people being unfaithful? That can also fuel your thinking to think that, your significant other is going to cheat on you. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. That's a good point, man. Like, everybody's family, and even in your own family, if it happened in your uncle and aunt, that don't mean your parents gonna do it, or your other
Exactly.
uncle is gonna do it, or you're now susceptible to do it.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's really like case by case basis kind of things. But yeah,
Right.
I like that one, because their approach to it is, hey, don't kill your relationship before it even has a chance to grow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Exactly. So my next one is, I have so many, so I'm just picking through.
You just go
I'm going
listing them off, just rolling them off.
so my other one that I had was being too picky. I don't know, because
Mm.
so that usually stems from an insecurity within yourself. Like, say you're always picking on your partner to be perfect because you're not perfect. There's something going on inside of you that you don't like about
Mm.
yourself.
Mm.
Like, say if I didn't like my teeth or whatever. So I'm not doing anything to proactively go out and fix my teeth, but I want you to go and fix your teeth. And so you're being
Mercy.
picky about certain things about them, or I don't. It's just certain things that you're doing to try to make your partner perfect because you want to be perfect, but you can't be perfect, or you're not doing anything. We can never do anything to make ourselves perfect, but you're not doing
Yeah.
anything to better yourself or to change whatever that you don't like about yourself. So you try to put that on your partner. And so it's like, that's the insecurity of yourself. So you want your partner to be perfect, or you want your partner to be what you're not, or what you're not
Mercy.
trying to fix. So that is a hang up. So you can't be picky. It can't be, okay. The other thing is, if you're and picky in the other way is they're not doing everything that you do. So they don't load the dishwasher the same way you load the dishwasher. They don't wash the clothes the same way you wash the clothes.
Guilty.
They don't clean
Guilty.
the house the same way you clean the house. They don't read the books the same way you read the books to your kids. It's like just different things. They don't cook the same way. They don't do this. They don't do that. It's like you're being too picky because if you wanted to be with yourself, you shouldn't be with anybody else.
Yeah, you're. That's a
Right.
There's a term for that. Autosexual.
Oh, really? Okay. Okay. I thought that was masturbation, but all
Now,
right.
well, it is. It's mental and
Autosexual.
emotional masturbation. Yeah, I don't know if it's real. I don't know if it's real, but I saw it in a YouTube skit. This lady was
Oh,
like, "Yeah, I'm autosexual. I turn myself on." And she was like dating a dude, and she was like, "Yeah, I need you to be in the bed and hold the mirror up for me."
right. That is
she,
crazy.
she was
That is
autosexual.
crazy. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah.
But we
Mm-hmm.
do sometimes we want our partners to do exactly everything that we do or become
Yep.
who we want them to become based on what we're not doing for ourselves. And that can make us too picky, and that can
True.
cause a little, rift in the relationship to the point where you'll be by yourself. I mean,
Yeah.
you'll be by yourself and you have to work on that yourself. So that was one
Yeah.
of my
Yeah, that's true, and that's a tricky one, man, because like when you like something a certain way,
right.
it is very hard not to want to make people do it like that, and then
Yeah.
especially when you're a parent and you
Yeah.
got kids, who you can tell to do it like the way you want it to be done, and then
Right.
your partner is like, "Nah, I don't do that.
I
That's
don't do
not
it
how
like
we did
that.
it." My
Right.
mama went left to right. She didn't do right to left on the dishes. You dig? You know.
Right.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Let me go with my. Okay, so my last one, and I
Okay.
picked this one not because I like it. I picked it because I want to talk about it. I want to
Oh,
like,
okay.
yeah, yeah. And we had a whole episode on this, but it's still bugging me. So we got to talk about it.
Okay.
Secrecy. If
Mm.
you ask someone whether you should tell your partner everything, more often than not, they will say no. Some
Mm.
couples tend to fight over the secrets that they can't divulge to each other. Yes, couples should always be open and honest with each other, but that doesn't mean that you have to pester them for information whenever you feel like they're hiding something.
Right.
Uh, Let me. So my what I'm. How do I say this? Okay, so I was pretty much down with it for the most part. But
Okay.
then at the end, it's like, okay, you pester them if you feel like they're hiding something. Like you have a sense that there is a secret that they are keeping and they're still keeping it from you. Then how do you deal with that as somebody's partner? Right? If you're
Mm.
supposed to trust this person, if you're supposed to, be open and honest with them, if it's something that's bothering you and it's continually bothering you,
Mm-hmm.
how do you let it go? Because if you don't deal with it, then it's going to eat you up and then it's going to turn into more stuff. So,
Right.
how then do you deal with that? Because I get what they're saying, like let the person have their space. But if you sense there's something they're holding back from you, it's almost like this person, the person who wrote the article, is saying, ease up, man. You got to deal with that on your own. Like you can't keep bugging them about it.
Right. I think one, for me, I would ask God first.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this I'm noticing something, God, and I don't know how I should go about this and how I should say
Mm-hmm.
it. Okay. And then, once I feel like, okay, maybe I can go ahead and say it. It's like it's about how you ask the question. Because you can just go and say,
Mm-hmm.
hey, I've been noticing this, or I've been noticing you've been way too tired, and you ain't trying to do the hanky panky or whatever. You ain't,
Mm-hmm.
nothing. You just been like really just, you just come home and go to bed. If you're noticing a change of routine, then I think there's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong for the yellow flags to go up and feel like, okay,
Mm-hmm.
something's up with that, all right, and just become more observant. But I think that there is a way that you can go about asking the questions. Like, hey, I noticed that
Mm-hmm.
you're coming home, and you're like really tired and you're going straight to bed. Is there anything going on at work that you want to talk about, or is there anything on your
Mercy.
mind? It's like asking the questions. If you sense something, just ask the questions. I wouldn't let it go for a long time, because that buildup can
Mm-hmm.
like cause overthinking too much, and then you'll be thinking everything. And so it's like,
Everything.
if I would say to ask your partner the question as if they were asking it to you. So basically,
Oh,
that
that's good. Yeah, that's
so
good.
how you would want someone to come to you and ask you a question about, or a suspicion or whatever. That's the way you should ask it to them. So don't be negative. Don't come already with your thoughts and your scenarios and everything that you done. Look, I don't notice this is and the third. You doing this and you doing this, because sometimes for women, the first thing we'll think, if we have a past where we've been cheated on or we've been neglected or abandoned, the first thing
Mm-hmm.
we'll think of is a woman.
Oh
And it's
Lord.
not always a woman. It's something else going
Mm-hmm.
on. It could be something at work. It could be a deadline they have to reach. It could be a goal they have not achieved yet. Maybe they saw something on Instagram. They saw one of their partners, going to Hawaii, and they have not put themselves in position yet, or they have not been able to put themselves in position yet to take
Mm-hmm.
you to Hawaii. It's a lot of things that could be going on in a man's mind, and it's not always a woman. So I just say that, just there's nothing wrong with asking questions. I don't think we should keep
Mm-hmm.
secrets from each other. I don't think that we should. I think whatever is bothering us, we should tell each other. But I still think that there's a right and a wrong way to ask, and I think you should just ask within love. And from a faith-based standpoint, ask God, how you can go about, telling them. Or you can talk to a confidant without telling them the details and say, you know what, I'm noticing something. How do I say anything? How do I?
Mm-hmm.
Someone that you can trust, who's not going
Mm-hmm.
to, give you a whole bunch of crazy thoughts in your head, like, girl, I told you, but no, you don't want
I
that.
remember when
Right.
Cletus did that.
Oh, I noticed that too. You just noticing that? No,
Oh
you
my
don't want
God.
that. You
Get
don't
that
want
person out
that.
of your life.
Right. But you want
So
someone
you're
who does. So yeah, but go ahead.
you're telling me that I shouldn't go and be like, Gina, all my socks are missing. Francine, where are my watches?
Right.
You're saying don't do it that way. I got you.
Right.
Now
Right.
let me add this layer to it. You talk to them.
Uh-huh.
You open and honest. You've prayed.
Right.
You did that
Mhm.
delete, and
Right.
then they give you an answer that is unsatisfying to you.
Right.
Now do you have to leave it because you've gone through the process and it's done and they've
You have to
answered you?
leave it. You have to leave it. You have to leave it. But I know it's hard. You have to leave it.
You gotta leave it.
Okay, because my thing is,
You gotta leave it.
what answer are you looking for? It's like I think it all depends on the scenario too, because it's like, do you have
True.
concrete evidence of something? If you have like, oh,
Just
I've
say it
noticed
if you have that, right?
right. If you have, bank receipts, so they've been, going to Best Buy and buying things and, sneaking stuff
Yeah.
in the house, knowing that y'all are trying to be on a budget, but they have like a spending habit, and,
Yeah.
and you're noticing things, then just say, hey, for me, if I saw that, I would bring all the boxes in the house and put them in the living room. So when you walk in, you'll see that I know the secret
Yeah.
that you thought that I didn't know. And then we can have a whole discussion. But I mean,
That'll be funny. Yeah. Uh-huh.
but I guess you have to, what is the word? Reckon with yourself before you talk to them and say, okay, what if I don't get the answer that I'm looking
If I
for?
don't get what I want, right?
What if I don't get what I
Prepare
want?
yourself.
Do I damage the relationship that we have to prove myself right? Or do I
Mm.
let things come out the way they come out? They said what's done in the dark comes to light. It's gonna come to the light sooner
Mm-hmm.
or later. And it's hard to try to keep your mouth closed and say, I know you've been doing this, but you've been lying to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's again, if it's bothering you that badly, you need to say, hey, can we have a talk? We need to
Mm-hmm.
talk, because I'm
You
noticing
really
something
need to
about
talk.
you, and it's really bothering me, and I don't want it to cause a rift in our relationship, because I value you and I value our relationship.
This is just how I do it, Gina. This is just how I do it. It's just how I deal with stress, okay? I buy stuff from Best Buy, okay? I like to
Right,
steal
right.
socks. That's my thing. Like it's like, all right, well, I was
Right.
put my socks in a lock box, and you just gonna have to
Right.
suffer. Yeah, yeah,
Right. Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. No, there should
yeah,
be
yeah,
no
yeah.
secrets. No secrets.
Yeah, that's what I
No
think. I would say there's no secrets. I feel like in a relationship there shouldn't be secrets. Like why? Why are we
Right.
having secrets? Yeah.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
you got another one?
I do. I'm gonna put two together.
Okay, okay.
I'm gonna put two together. One is a hang up is jealous or non-supportive friends. That's a hang up.
Mm,
And I would also put not even just friends, like family members. So like a mom or a dad or a cousin or something like that, or a friend. If you
mm,
have friends or family members in your life who are not supportive of your relationship, it's one thing if somebody is beating on you or they can like really tell that they're really, really bad. And 9 times out of 10, we already know, that this
yeah,
person, I should be with this person, but we're like just denying it because we
yeah.
feel like we've been in it too long or we have so much history with this person we don't want to let it go. That's one thing. But if there's nothing like that going on, right? But now that you're married, I would say there's a transition that happens from when you were single and now you're married, or a
Mm,
transition where you didn't have anybody and now you do, and so your time is different. The way you spend your time with your family and your friends is different, and some people can become jealous and not
mm,
supportive of your relationship and your marriage. Then if you have those kind of friends, those are hangups, because it's going to be a constant pull, because sometimes our partner can see things that we don't see because we're too close to that person. So if your spouse or your significant other is like, I don't know about her or I don't know about him, I would take that into account. I would take that as, okay, they love me enough to tell me the truth about this. They're not talking bad about them. They're not saying this,
mm.
that. They're pointing out something that I can't see because I'm too close to them to
To
see
the
it. Because
relationship,
sometimes when you're
yeah.
too close to somebody, you can't see what they're doing behind the scenes. But your partner sees it. They're observing it. They see how they act when they come to the party. They see how like they don't ever include, your spouse, your significant other, the things. They always invite you only. They always make comments, sarcastic comments or whatever like that, because they're
Hmm.
secretly jealous of your relationship, or they're jealous of the fact that you're no longer having any time for them. So you don't want that. And then my other part to that is comparing your significant other or your partner, your spouse, to your parents. So I know we
Oh,
had something about comparing them to your ex, but what about your
yeah.
parents? Like, especially if you were a mama's boy or a daddy's girl, and my mom
Hmm.
always did like this and my dad always did like this, you can't do that.
Mm,
That's the hang,
yes.
especially when you're married, because the Bible say, the good book says, you must cleave. You must leave your parents and cleave to your spouse, your
Yes,
husband or your
indeed.
wife. So, if you're always, comparing, well, my mama didn't do it like this. My
Yeah.
dad didn't do it like this, or my daddy always did like this. Let me tell you something. If you get to the altar and you say yes and I do to somebody, why are you still waiting for him to open your door? He wasn't opening your door the whole time.
The
Y'all was
whole time.
you married, you saying, well, my daddy always opened my mama door. Or my dad always opened up my
So,
door.
well,
He
get your
always,
dad.
right. My daddy always did this and did this. No, that's not how it
Hmm.
works. You need to, if you have a non-negotiable of how you want to be treated as a person, those things need
Yeah.
to be brought up before you get committed to somebody. Don't throw any kind of comparisons. I would say any comparison. Don't compare to
To
friends. Don't
anybody.
compare to
Hmm.
relationships. Don't compare to your parents. Don't compare if you go to church what your bishop done said, or what the first lady done did, with the pastor done do. You don't know what goes on behind closed doors. You only see what's in the pulpit.
Right.
Only see what's
Right.
going on Sunday morning or Wednesday night or at a conference.
Hmm.
Don't
Hmm.
compare
At
your
the
relationship.
conference.
Right. You don't compare your relationship to anybody else's relationship, and definitely don't compare your spouse or your significant other to your mama or your daddy. Remember the movie Think Like a Man, when he was
Yeah.
a mama's boy and
Oh my God. And his
he had a
wife
tug
was.
of war. Right. He had a tug of war between him and his mama. And
Mm,
and so you don't want that. you just don't want that. You want to be respectful of the in-laws or the in-loves, I like to call them. But you want to point that out if you're like, because it'll fester to the point like, I'm not your mama, and she's not.
Right.
She's not.
And, or
Or the
she
dad.
takes it out on your mom, and your mom don't know what's going on. And he's
No.
like, wait, what? Why are we fighting right now?
Right. Why
And
she
it
don't
ain't
like
got nothing to do with it. Yeah.
Right.
But I was thinking about. I was listening to this one. It was like an episode of The Basement with Tim Ross.
love that episode.
Yeah, he. It was like it was an episode with him and Mike Todd. And Mike Todd was talking about how he had taken all these church members, these couples from his church to this couples retreat or like a couples conference. And he and his wife were actually having some pretty significant tension at that time. And it was like at the end of the conference, they had this, commitment ceremony to your spouse or whatever. And he was like telling his wife, he was like, we done brought all these people to this conference. If you don't grab my hand right now, and we go through this commitment ritual in front of these people, we gonna have a problem. But yeah, but that's the truth. Like seriously, we only see what we see. We do not know what is going on. So the comparison game, I'm 100% agree with you. That thing is, don't do it. Don't do it. Because you might be making a comparison, which is actually a leap that you have made, which is not actually there, and you trying to make your partner somebody who doesn't even exist.
Exactly.
Doesn't even exist.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So,
do you want to give a couple more? Because I don't have any more of the hangups. I just have a couple cool points.
No, I didn't have one. I think the one that I forgot to tie back into the first one I did, which was what was the first one that I did? I forgot that fast.
Shoot, the first
going everywhere. The first one that I did was
I'd be such a G if I remember.
Gosh. Oh my gosh. What are my notes? Hold on, let me put my glasses back on, y'all. Hold on. Sticking with what you do. Doing with what you did before. So with that also, if you are a people pleaser, that's what you did before. And I found out today through I think it was through blacktherapyformen.com. They were talking. They mentioned that there's a difference between a peacekeeper and a peacemaker, and I realized today that I am a peacekeeper. And gosh, I wish I could find it, but they were saying that a peacekeeper is someone who doesn't. They go out of their way to avoid conflict. Okay, they don't bring anything up. But a peacemaker knows how to bring up something that may cause a conflict, but will ultimately bring peace back into the relationship.
Because that's nice.
If you're doing something to me that is causing me like mental anguish, I'm stressing out, but I don't want us to have a argument because I think that our relationship is supposed to be, bubble gums and gumdrops and rainbows and with no kind of argument and conflict. Then it's going to fester, and there's not going to be any kind of peace within myself or in the relationship because I'm not being my authentic self. I'm not showing up as myself because I'm not telling you the truth. So don't be a peacekeeper. Don't avoid conflict. If your spouse or your significant other is saying something or doing something that is causing you mental anguish or stress, let them know. Let them know in love. Sit them down and say, look, this is what you're doing. And when you do this is how it makes me feel. Don't try to hold it in because by doing that, you're gonna bring peace back into your soul. You're gonna bring peace back into the relationship, and then you'll be able to flow and move the way you should be flowing in your relationship. So I would say that was something.
Yeah, it's like the analogy getting something off your chest or releasing things. Because if not, you the difference between freedom versus sluggishly trying to like drag through your existence. You drag because you got all this heavy weight on you. There's ways to, like you're saying, release it in a way that is effective and peaceful. That is, I love that, man. The difference between being a peacekeeper and a peacemaker. Because
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure that gets twisted real quick,
Real fast.
real fast.
Real fast.
Um, so here's what I wanted to say. That I found
Okay.
was another excellent point from this thing.
Okay.
Think about this, people.
Okay.
Relationship hangups shouldn't exist if it wasn't put in your head in the first place. A lot of time, the hangups is some outside influence
Yeah.
that you have allowed in. So there's and like why the reason why I like this is I was thinking you can if you can get to the point where you're like recognizing like a lot of time
Right.
people will talk about this when we talk about triggered things that's triggered, right? You recognize your trigger, so you come up with the coping skills to manage that emotion. So
Right.
if you can like become a person who recognizes the dynamics of an interaction. All right, my
Right.
friend is I'm seeing this happen in my friend's relationship, and I
Mm-hmm.
know what I usually do is internalize that and start bringing it into mind. But
Right.
I'm recognizing now that I'm not going to be that way. And
Mm-hmm.
so I am going to be proactive in not letting this become a new hang up,
Right.
right? Um, it said the only way that you can get over things is by acknowledging your fears and finding a way to solve it before things get worse. So,
Right.
one of the first steps is let me recognize, hey, this is only going to be a problem if I let it in. So, let me figure out my skills to not let this in, so to speak. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? I
Right.
love that idea. Um, Another one was it's easy once you, I don't know if I would use the word easy, but
Mm-hmm.
I'll say manageable maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Once you realize that it's doing more harm than good for your relationship. Once you and for me, like the key term is
Right.
realize. Like when
Right.
you realize it, when you start to be like, yeah, you know what, I'm dealing with this thing, but if I let it keep going, it's just going to keep damaging my relationship. It's not going to make it better. Even if I'm trying to tell myself I'm trying to make it better. No, 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 no. You're not. You're making it
Right.
worse. You
Right.
know. So yeah, and I had a bunch of other ones, but you know,
Right.
yeah. There's like a lot of good stuff, guys. Go read the article.
Right.
Maybe I should put some links to it in the description or something because this was a
Yeah.
good one. There's a lot of good points in there.
Right. And there was
Um,
also another list that we also looked at from
yeah.
eharmony.com that was called
Yes.
Ways to Overcome Hangups that Impede Lasting Love. So that is also a good one. Go to eharmony.com/dating dash
Hmm.
advice, and you can just you'll find all that stuff like that. So again, we're
Yeah.
not endorsing eharmony.com. Okay,
Yeah. Unless they want to
unless
pay us.
they want to, I yeah, unless they unless they want to unless they
Unless they
want to
want to pay us.
brand deal, then hey, I'll
Right.
be on a commercial.
Bring it on.
But yeah, other than that, I don't have anything
I'll
else.
do a
But I would
voiceover.
say
Yeah.
a voiceover. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll do a
So my
voiceover for
quote
you.
that I just found, because I thought I had one, I thought I wrote it down, but I think it was in my head and I didn't write it down.
Hmm.
A true relationship is two imperfect people refusing to give up on each other.
Yes.
A true relationship is two
Don't give
imperfect
up.
people refusing to give up on each other. If you remember that you both are imperfect people and you're both human beings and that you're going to make mistakes and that things you're going to disappoint each other, don't ever believe the lie that you're never going to disappoint each other. There are we talked about how love songs like basically brainwash us into thinking that our relationships are going to be a fairy tale, and it's not. The fairy tale is that you live happily ever after, even after the the disappointments, the flaws, even after the tears, even after the joy and the pain. That's the happily ever after, is the fact that you can continue to keep working through the relationship and making sure that the prize and the goal is that you all are going to build a legacy for your children. You're going to help people around you, because so many people don't see good relationships and good marriages. So
Yeah.
you're not with each other just for each other. You're with each other for other greater purpose and assignment that God has for you all, if you recognize it. So that's what I would say about that. And don't ever think that therapy is not an option, because it is. You can go to couples therapy before you get married. You can go to therapy after you get married. So do those things as
You can
well.
do it individually and
Yep.
then bring it in. You
Bring it
could
in
do
together.
if you're working with a good person in couples therapy, they will include individual sessions as well
Right.
as joint sessions.
Right.
So though look for that as well.
Yes.
I wanted to so the verse that comes to mind when I think about that
Okay.
is Ecclesiastes 4:12, y'all.
Okay.
It says, though one may be overpowered, right? You're
Mm-hmm.
talking about your mental, you could be overpowered.
Right.
Two can defend themselves. A cord of three strands is not quickly broken. Just like you said, don't give up on the relationship. If you got two people that are
Right.
working towards that goal, it's much more difficult to destroy the
Exactly.
relationship. Like,
Exactly.
keep them cords. You know how them braids get them
Right.
tight. Make the
Right.
eyes not be, you can't turn your head. Pull it tight. All
Right.
right. Yeah, you get the point. You get the point.
Right. Right.
But yeah, man. Support, stick to it. Don't give up. Like, giving up is not an option. As
Right.
much as possible, as much as is humanly possible, don't let giving up be an option. Work on it.
Work on it.
Work
Especially if
on
you're
it.
not, yeah, especially if you're not in an abusive relationship. I know this is the month
Right.
of domestic violence awareness month.
That's true.
So
That's true.
we do not advocate you staying with someone if they are physically beating you up,
Yeah.
and if they are mentally beating you up.
Right. Mentally,
Those
emotionally,
those
any of
those
those abuses,
right. So
those are
if
no
you are in
goes.
a situation like that, please go and find help. Please reach out for someone to find help, so that you can get out of that. I have been praying on that today, that
Mm,
women and men can get out of relationships that they feel like they have to be in because they've been in for so long. But this person is like
wow.
really
Yeah.
causing them a lot of stress and a lot of anguish, physically and mentally. So do not stay in relationships. Do not work hard to be with someone who is hurting you. You know,
Right. Don't
break
do
away
it.
and walk away from that, and so that you can get the help that you need, and so that they can get the help they need, because something happened in their life that makes them think that it's okay to do to you what they're doing to you. So okay, so that's that.
And
But thank you
let's
so much.
finish on that. Mm-hmm.
Thank you all so much for joining us for another episode of the Way Love Goes podcast. Again, don't forget to share, like, subscribe, and comment. Hit that notification bell so you can hear every time, so you can know every time we go live. There's a net. And also, don't forget to visit our Instagram page, The Way Love Goes Pod. And you can send us an email if you have any suggestions that you would like us to do, or if you want to be on the podcast. Hey, we're looking for guests.
Yeah.
If you have a relationship story that you want to tell, and you want to help people know how the way love goes should go, don't forget, you can email
Mm-hmm.
us at the way love goes pod at gmail.com.
Podcast was already taken.
Right, podcast always taken. So pod at gmail.com, and we will be happy to have you on, so we can talk to you and you can help
Yeah.
other people through your story. Okay, because we want people to grow in love, and grow in love in the right way.
In the
Okay,
right way, guys. No toxic stuff,
no toxic
guys.
stuff.
Forget that Birkin bag. No, maybe it's part of it. Anyway, I'm going off topic. Yeah. Blessings, peace, love. Till the
That's the
next
way.
time. That's the way love goes,
Bye.
baby. Bye. Peace.